On this episode, let's get personal. So, hello guys, my name is Morel, I'm 21, and I've never been in a relationship. Let's talk about that. I've wanted to touch on this topic for a while now, for all my late bloomers out there. Though is it even really late blooming? Because to me, late blooming would be like 24, 25, 28. Though I'm still probably gonna be single by then. But anyways, I wanted to touch on this one for y'all to one, let y'all know that you're not alone and let's relate together. And I guess that it's not a weird thing or shocking to be like that in our generation. And two, because I don't think I've ever seen it broken down in the way that I will break it down today for y'all in a more, say, Cartesian manner and from the lens of someone who has truly never did it like that or experience any sort of intimacy and is not necessarily looking to do so, not even in the far future. And from the lens of someone who has not necessarily been imprinted by religious and cultural conditioning and societal pressure. Like, I'm not a virgin out of shame or fear or because I'm afraid of disappointing anyone, but I do have reasons, and I do think my reasons are valid, even outside of all those external factors and influences. And I'm gonna break it down for y'all today. So I guess this video will also be a balm of reassurance for a lot of you guys that you're actually making the right choice and that this isn't necessarily an odd decision, even in our generation, like I said earlier. And three, because you guys know the saying, if you want something done, you better do it yourself. So in this video, guys, I'm gonna semi-extensively touch on the why of that decision, the perceived pro from my perspective, and the experience cons, in my opinion, once again, because yeah, there's still cons. And I'm gonna be very candid and honest, because it's my nature. And also because at the end of the day, it's my experience, so I don't need anybody to agree with it. It's like my life. So anyways, let's get into it. Quick disclaimer though, I just want to make one thing clear that this isn't a space for religious propaganda or cultural or societal shaming of other women or of any woman choices, really, as they are and will always be, in my opinion, sovereign individuals with autonomous agency. Like, notice how I'm stacking all the synonyms, and also because I, for one, do not have a single religious bone in my body, okay? Like, deadass. So if this video end up getting a lot of views and some of y'all are somehow tempted to do that under my comments, just know you will be blocked. And I might offend you before I block you, so don't do that here. This is just my story, and I just want people to relate to it. I don't want none of that shaming stuff. That it doesn't work here. Okay, so let's get on to the why. So first of all, I think the first and easiest reason as to why I've never really been in a relationship is honestly just lack of opportunity. Like, genuinely, I grew up very sheltered and like, I've literally still to this day never been to a sleepover courtesy of my parents back then, but not that I could. I just don't want to sleep outside of the outside I live in. And I used to spend all of my time studying back then, to be honest. Plus, most of my teenage years were pretty much spent in survival mode. Which I won't get into that too much, but yeah. So I genuinely did not have the time or mental space to really date like that back then, which I think in turn made me develop like an aesthetic edge to my personality. Not religious asceticisms, obviously, because like I said earlier, I am not a religious person, but more in the sense of personal discipline, let's say. The second reason as to why I didn't have that much opportunity is because two, I don't drink and I don't smoke, and therefore I don't like clubbing. So automatically that removes like already a huge percentage of opportunities most people my age get when it comes to those kind of stuff, you know. Okay, so when I was younger, I really experimented with alcohol. Like, I used to drink cheap champagne from the grocery store almost every week when I was 16. Don't ask how I was able to get cheap champagne at 16. But anyways, but the urge quickly disappeared when I realized how much I hated the feeling of my senses being diluted. So I simply stopped touching alcohol and any other substances. I never did drugs though. But anyways, to this day, I still haven't touched a drop of it in years. Also, I've never been on a dating app, so that's even less opportunity on that side because one, I'm very lazy, and two, I don't like the idea of wasting my time on the wrong ones to possibly find the right one. Keyword here being possibly, because I don't even really believe in love like that, to be honest. So the whole ordeal alone is exhausting in my head. I'm really cantankerous, quickly, about time management because I had like really bad depression when I was around 13 and 14, which went on for years and used to basically leave me in a catatonic state for days. And I'm truly, genuinely terrified of ever being in that situation again, like even just the thought of it makes me physically uncomfortable, which is why I really dislike the idea of wasting my time. Like, I love having a routine because it's the quickest way for me to have mental peace. Second of all, I think me never having been in a relationship also comes down to my personality in itself and how I relate to people emotionally. Because one, I don't like the feeling of yearning. Like, I am not a yearner. It just feels arrhythmic to me. I don't like the feeling of expecting people to text me back or to talk to me or do too much. I don't like that. It's agitating to me. Like, I'm very much intolerant towards anything that feels emotionally chaotic or psychologically draining in general. And to be honest, I don't like wanting anything but money. Because at least with money, like, I'm genuinely so used to like wanting it and working towards it because we live in a capitalistic society, so everyone wants money, like it's normal. And it doesn't fog my senses when I'm yearning for it, let's say, though the word isn't yearning because I'm just working like every normal human being. It's like the only things that I can actually tolerate wanting are things that I can directly control. And in a romantic context, that feeling would just completely blindside me and truly cause literal physical discomfort because one, it wouldn't be part of my ingrained routine, and two, I genuinely fundamentally believe that you cannot control people. And by the way, I'm saying would blindside me from experience because I don't think I've ever talked to anyone for more than 3 weeks because most of the time I'm cutting things off because of how uncomfortable that slight emotional chaos is for me. And I think that aspect of my personality has definitely made me less inclined to entertain and aim for people's attention and affection. Another part of my personality that stopped me from entering a relationship for so long is because I'm just naturally a solitary person. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm the kind of individual that just genuinely deeply enjoy my own company. I don't love myself that much. To be honest, I'm actually pretty self-critical, but and I mean this genuinely from the bottom of my heart. I've never met anyone's company I've enjoyed more than my own company. I'm almost always at peace when I'm by myself, and a lot of time interacting with others truly agitate me because my immediate instincts are usually to analyze their patterns of behavior so I can categorize them in my head and therefore know which compartmentalized angle of myself I can show to them in future interactions in order for the connection to stay smooth and to stay pleasant. By the way, not in a fake way, but more like every individual is different, so you just have to deal with them differently. I actually used to think there was something wrong with me because it grew exhausting out calculating each of my interactions with other humans were, and I grew up wondering why everyone wasn't just so fucking tired of interacting with others to the point that I had to wonder like if I wasn't like a sociopath or something, which I'm not, by the way. And it's one of the main reasons I got into behavioral psychology at such a young age because I was trying to figure out like and train myself, you can say, on how to function better in society in a well-adjusted manner, or at least in a non-threatening manner. But don't worry, y'all, like I am not a sociopath or a psychopath because I genuinely love children and I really love animals and I really love plants from the bottom of my heart, like especially animals. They have my heart, so that's how I knew. Also, due to like my solitary nature, I also think I tend to self-reflect a lot, which in my opinion, people are like in frequent need of romantic connections and intimacy. Like, people practice casual sex, which I have nothing against, by the way. Like, as long as it's safe for women, especially, like, more power to you. Like, and I mean this genuinely. I'm not a religious person, and I'm not into the whole cultural shaming of other women. Like, I grew up reading on stuffs like that. So, but anyways, people who are like that, from what I've seen, are usually just trying to fill a void, sort of abyss, whether the abyss be something as simple as boredom or trauma of any kind or grief. And personally, I'm very much aware of my abyss, so it's easier for me to, just play chess really intensely to calm down while asking myself questions about why I feel certain urges and stuff, or just go work out or I don't know, talk myself through my issues. Like, I talk to myself a lot actually. So I'm aware of my lowest impulses, let's say, and where they come from. And how I can remedy them to the best of my ability so that they don't hinder and get in the way of my happiness and of me achieving my goals. The last aspect of my personality that I think has restricted me from romantic relationships so far is honestly just how intentional I am as a person. Because I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty obdurate, stubborn by nature. So usually once I decide something align with my internal framework, it's usually set in stone for me. And my character is very much intentional in that way. Like it wasn't imprinted by authority figures or religious ideologies or my peers and even my parents to a certain extent. So I know, of course, well, all the product of our environment at the end of the day. For me, though, personally, I honestly didn't mind going against my environment if it didn't align with my value system. So in that way, there were sometimes nasty trials and errors that went into account when forming me. Like my parents didn't just tell me to be good, and I was. I first tried out being bad well into my teenage years, but thank God I'm kind of a quick learner, so it was all good at the end. But still, I tried. Like remember, I said I used to drink like cheap champagne almost every week when I was 16, before realizing I didn't like my senses being diluted. Like it was only when I made that realization that I didn't like that I simply stopped touching and never looked back. But before, I just take anyone's ID in a house and just go buy it myself. And if they didn't ask for the ID at the grocery store, then it was all good. But if they did ask, I just showed them the fake ID and well, and it wasn't me trying to be bad or trying to be rebellious. Like people would go to the club and at 15 and try to, you know, do all that. I was just doing whatever I want because to me, what people say is bad is not necessarily bad until I decide it's bad, you know? Like, I had to learn from experience that lying isn't good because it eventually always bite you back in the ass. So I and not because people just told me so and I actually went with it. Like I actually tend to question a lot what people tell me, to be honest. What people say to me. Like for example, I'm not a virgin because of society or because of shame or fear or religion or like anyone's opinion. I just decided I was gonna be and I stuck with it because I deeply trust my own decision process that I can usually back it up and there's amazing track record of my decision doing me right. So I truly only ever do what I want and it low-key irritates the fuck out of me when people think my inexperience in that matter is some form of naivety or a testament of innocence or piousness or whatever, when really it's just because I decided. And when I decide I want something or I want to be something, I just do it. Honestly, if it wasn't for me dissecting why integrity is always a better path than others historically, like especially if you don't have the means to get yourself out of tricky and compromising situations. If it wasn't for me deciding that integrity is good, then I might have been another type of person today. And even now, in some aspects, I have a few morally gray value. And sometimes I graze the immoral from a societal perspective without guilt because it doesn't go against my own intrinsic set of values. So I don't feel guilt about it like the way I've seen some people. Another aspect of those intentionally built beliefs is that I'm very skeptical about romance in general in a traditional sense because even though we have empirical evidence and testaments of people making long life commitments and it actually working out for them, I am still very much a skeptic of that aspect of life. By the way, I know these are like very long explanations. It's just that I've been thinking about making this video for like a while now. I want it to be like super clear and I just want to make sure I add like enough content for a video. So I did take a lot of notes, which I look at from time to time. Because I wanted to make sure to include everything I wanted to say. Because like I said in the beginning, I've never seen these kind of videos from the perspective of someone like me. Like it's usually like about God or about how they're waiting for the right one. But I know for sure there are probably more people, more women like me. And I wanted to make a video from this more stoic perspective of restraint. Stoic is not the word. Anyways, I think the third reason as to why, in my opinion, I've also never been in a relationship is honestly because of men's nature. At least my perception of men's nature and of human nature in general. Because as far as I know, I'm straight. mostly. And I do think I view male female dynamics in a very particular manner. And before some of y'all start panicking in the comments, no, I don't think all men are evil, sociopathic, monsters, blah blah blah. But with that being said, I also do watch a lot of true crimes, so my view of men is a bit, yeah. To make it candid, there's a slight subterranean um, pre- predator prey undertone in how I perceive all romantics, dynamics, and intimacy in general, especially as a woman. And simultaneously, I also see a lot of men as pretty weak-willed and easily swayed creatures to their desires, mostly because of the way most of them are socialized from a very young age. So it's not like it's entirely their fault. And the thing is, for me, one of my core beliefs is that genuinely, I think I've said it in the beginning, that every sovereign individual possesses intrinsic value, okay? Like that's something deeply ingrained in me. So I inherently dislike seeing people as lesser than me. Like it's very egalitarian in my head at all levels. But at the same time, whenever I observe certain behavioral patterns in some men, and since I know I'm not like that myself, it becomes a bit difficult for me to be attracted to most of them. Like, I am unfortunately very much aware of the fact that there are so many sick out there. And I don't want a man bad enough to go through the trouble of finding the right one by going through the rest of the garbage. Obviously, if you don't put in effort into something, of course it doesn't happen. Like, that's just the way life is. And honestly, I've kind of long ago settled with the idea of ending up alone. That sounds so weird saying it out loud. But yeah, because no cap, y'all, there's no romantic fairy tale running around in my head where I'm waiting for the right one. Like, I'm genuinely just not wired like that. And in relation to what I said about how I view male to female dynamics earlier, I'm also not a prey. But at the same time, I don't like acting like a predator. I don't know if these are the right words. Okay, let's just go with those terminologies. But at the same time, I also don't like acting like a predator because as someone who used to have quite a mean streak when I was younger, the idea alone is so exhausting to me now. Like, I've honestly grown so mellow with age. I usually just block people now or ignore them. Well, unless it's like in front of a mass of people, which I know I'm gonna like subsequently interact with them afterwards, then I kinda have to like be a bit vituperious and a tiny bit mean in order to eliminate the possibility of me being a target in the future. By the way, pack dynamics are like so exhausting. That's why I prefer being alone most of the time. Like I hate dealing with all of that. But anyways, even then, like I'm very measured with it. Like you gotta show just enough teeth to make people back off, but not enough to become the talk of the town because that's literally my worst nightmare. It's not insane, but like I'm happiest when I go unnoticed in real life. Anyways, bottom line of all of that is that I haven't been in a relationship because I haven't been exploring because I don't like the idea of having to fend off all the potential evil. Another reason why is because the best way to not be pregnant is to not have sex, and the best way to not have sex is to stay single. And since I have no particular desire to have kids now either, it's just like I'm 90% partial on just adopting in my 30s, to be honest. Like I don't have long-term goals of founding a family. Like when I sit down, I'm not like I want to be married and I want to have a baby in 5 years. Even though it might happen, well, not in 5 years for sure, like 10 years at least. And even though it might happen, because I'm not completely against the possibility, I just generally don't care for it that much. So naturally, I'm not particularly looking for the opportunity. And sometimes, like, even when the opportunity presents itself, I just ignore it. Like, if I feel like it might inconvenience me in a way, it's not like I'm restraining myself or stopping myself, at least since I'm no longer a hormonal teenager. Because, like I said before, back then I was sheltered and I had to study all the time. Now I can just truly do just about whatever the fuck I want. It's just that I don't want it that much anymore. I may be like asexual or demisexual or romantic or whatever. All I know is that every year the desire for romantic connection and romantic partnership and intimacy shrinks a bit more. a desire that was just never much to begin with. So here I am now at 21, never have been in a relationship and never having gone past the intimate stage of kissing someone. I said earlier, no intimacy, right? I've kissed people. Also because this might sound selfish, but like, is it really selfish? Because it's my body, it's my life, so is it selfish? But yeah, a lot of the other acts just seem so repulsive and disgusting to me. Like, low-key, these were the best, because I think I'd just be a terrible partner. I'd just be terrible at relationships, because I'm the kind that I will not put your wants and needs before mine. And if I feel like it inconvenience me in any way, then I just won't do it. Like, if I think an act is fucking disgusting, I'm just not gonna do it. I don't care. Like, I think it's pretty fucking, no offense guys, but I think it's pretty fucking disgusting. Like, I don't do that. And I also think that's like a power trait for most men. But I won't get too much into that, because like, that's a whole other subject. By the way, I just want to say that I'm not a selfish person though. Like, I think I'm generous. Like, the dichotomy of my character might go over, some people say, but what I mean is that I'm giving to people around me and strangers because I don't mind giving. Like, we all die and think none of this hurt me stuff when we go. And like, one of my biggest dreams to this day is still to build an orphanage for underprivileged children, and I mean it. And I want that for myself, and not because anyone or anything forced me to do it, but because I genuinely want it, because I love children, like I said. But I will not give if it's a problem or if it inconveniences me, and I won't feel bad about it at all. So yeah, those are like super long explanations. I'm so sorry guys, but I took like so many notes, and like, I just want to get everything in, and I took so many notes because it wasn't knowledge I could directly like take from a book this time. So I wanted to be sure to get enough content and enough things said, but I think I went a bit overkill. But yeah, it's probably like, nobody's probably gonna watch this really, so it's fine. Anyways, let's get into why I think it wired my brain differently. And by that I mean the pros and the cons of my decision or situation or whatever. Like, let's validate our choice, guys, women who are watching this. So let's get into the pros first of our decision. For one, the biggest pro for all of my late bloomers out there by society standards is that as a woman, if you're a man, it can apply too, but it's that as a woman, you're actually safer. And not even just from a statistical perspective, because we all know the statistics of the crimes against women done by men. We all know about that. But also because the older you get, the wiser you are, and the more discerning you usually become. So by restraining yourself when you're younger, not only safer in the present, you're also augmenting your chances of being safe in the future, because as you age, you just make better decisions, because you gradually just becomes better at seeing red flags and manipulation tactics and emotional instability. And like, the older you get, the less that toxic shit is cute to you. Not that it ever was cute at the first place, but you know how when we're young, it's like, another pro is that, at least for me, having been alone for so long has definitely made me less dependent on other people's attention and affection or approval. Like, I don't feel like I need anybody to feel okay mentally or emotionally. And I know it was also a why when I think about it, but honestly, it's just as much a cause as much as it's the consequence of the situation. Like, I think that being in a relationship for this long has made me a lot more self-reliant on an emotional and mental level. And because of that, personally, I feel like it also allowed me to focus more on myself and on my goals. Like, I can work out and bulk and cut in peace without policing my body based on how attractive I want to stay for my partner. And I know I'm independent minded, but at the end of the day, I'm still human and we're all human. So I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have been able to get this far in my fitness journey, first of all, if I had someone to worry about like that. And as I feel like I can structure my life exactly how I want it, because I don't have to navigate and emotionally or physically even accommodate anybody. And honestly, that level of freedom feels just psychologically very comforting to me. Like, the second pro is that you just have so much more time and energy to put into bettering yourself, for real. But of course, like with all things in life, there are bad aspects, so like there are cons too. And I think one of the biggest ones is that avoiding relationships, not having been in a relationship for so long, can make you kind of emotionally vulnerable to certain situation, even if you are, say, psychologically aware, because there's a difference between understanding people on an intellectual level and actually experiencing connection and intimacy in real time. Because there's certain situations that I've never been around because of, like I said, the lack of opportunity and interactions with people in that way. So every time I did experience some of them a bit, I was like, and I was completely blindsided because naturally the more you experience something, the more you learn about it. Like no amount of reading and learning from other people's behavior can prepare you for some things, to be honest. Like for example, for me personally, there was this guy I was talking to like a year or two ago that I actually genuinely liked initially, which is pretty rare for me. So when I like someone, I'm usually like, okay, like let's see where this goes, because I don't usually like people. It's a new feeling, you know? And it's not like I'm stopping myself from experiencing things. Like I said before, it's mostly because of lack of opportunity and my personality in general. Like me not caring about it that much. That's why it doesn't happen. When the opportunity comes and I'm like, okay, if I'm in a good mood and I'm not reading a good book or I don't have anything else going on, like I don't have exams and I'm not studying and I'm not, focused on like a new project, I'm just gonna enter and I'm gonna like see where it goes if it actually feels good. So anyways, we were talking and at first everything went well and the vibes were like really good. And one thing about me you have to know is that I'm very direct and like I'm very orderly in a way I approach that aspect of my life, especially because I don't see the point of playing around. I don't see the point of dragging it out. Like, I don't want to drag anything out because my time is precious to me. And I usually just want whatever has to come out of it to come out quickly so that I can go back to like being, emotionally regulated. So anyways, I was talking to him and everything was nice. And after a few days, I was very honest about the whole thing. I was like, hey, I don't really be dating like I usually, but I'm interested too. And I don't mind saying everything myself and getting to know you better. I was very honest because I'm usually super quick at cutting things off if I feel like it's a waste of my time or not even starting anything at the first date. Anyways, I said that and he was like, cool, because we both liked each other at that point and because he had been the one to approach me first. But yeah, at first everything went well. And then he started like playing games, let's say as the basest iteration of whatever the fuck was happening there. And I was like, what the fuck? Because like I said before, I am very acute and sensitive to the dynamics, the waves of like humans and how they move and how they behave. By the way, I was still acting like me. I was still like, I'm a very consistent person. I'm very routinely. What is I try to be? Like, I'm the type of person to just text you every single day, once a day, and I'll always say the same thing. I'm very boring. I just now realized maybe that's why. Anyways, like I'll be really consistent about the way I feel, and if anything changed, I will tell you honestly immediately, and I'll just send it. Point blank, period, without dragging it out. Okay. Then I started playing games from at least my perspective, and maybe it was just unstable. I don't know. I never actually went on a date with that one. But anyways, when that happened, whatever that was, I was like, oh, okay, so you're no longer interested. It's fine. Let's just end it so that we can move on peacefully and just go back to living our lives, I just didn't mind that much. I didn't like him that much, but I liked him. But I didn't mind that much. But he was like, oh, no, I like you, like, let's not. And he kept on, like, dragging it out and making up weird stuff. It made me so confused and agitated that I didn't like that. And back then, since I hadn't yet experienced that one specific type of situation, I was not equipped like I am today properly enough to, deal with it. But yeah, I think not dating much can make you kind of vulnerable to those kind of situations because there are just some things that if you haven't been through it yet, you can't really learn, that you can't read about everything. Anyways, another con is that I think I developed a bit of an avoidant personality because of how easy it became for me to emotionally detach from people. So obviously I think that mindset pulls me off a bit. Another con is that I also dislike the process in itself of having to tell men I'm inexperienced in that area and gauge their reaction and decide if they see me as a threat or trophy or conquest or just some weird puritanical archetype. I don't know. Because I have never been intimate with anyone, but I'm not naive. And I genuinely feel like I know men's nature better than some people. who I've been in long-term relationships, because I'm not afraid and I'm not fooled by the potential of how bad they can be, like of the harm they can do, of the harm that all humans can do, really, not just men, humans in general. Like they think I'm naive and I'm dumb, and they think I'll just fall in love with them and never let go. When I literally spent most of my childhood thinking I was a sociopath, which, like I said before, I'm not, by the way. So my point is that there's no romantic fairy tale running around in my head where I'm like, oh, I'll wait for my knight in shining armor, wait for perfect one. And they think they can use those ideologies to sometimes manipulate me. And it's not that I can easily outmaneuver them and their ill intended thoughts. It's more like just the thought of having to deal with that is exhausting. Like, I don't want to deal with weird people. So that's a con, because I spent so much of my younger years playing guessing games with people that now, honestly, just the thought of having a more than surface level connection that would be tumultuous with someone is just exhausting. Basically, I like peace. I like peace. And yeah, I think that's really the point. Like, I'm not here to say that my decision was the perfect one, even though it has been right for me so far, in my opinion. I just really wanted to validate some people who are in the same situation as me, and in how they might actually be making the right choice in many ways. And I just wanted to relate to others as well and would think a bit more like me. And I don't know, I just wanted to make a video about it because I took like so much notes about this video, and I've never seen it broken down like this, and I wanted it to be done. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you have enjoyed my content. I do make less personal and more fact-based breakdowns usually, but there's always something to learn around here, really. So if you dig the vibes, stay here for a while. See you all next week.